Medic Life, Episode 17, EMS Applications, some viewer favorites, plus the GT Medic. You can find it all in this episode. This is Medic Life, a weekly video podcast for EMS professionals, bringing you real-world knowledge about today's EMS with your host, John Newton. Lifers, it's Wednesday night and time for your weekly dose of Medic Life, where we delve into everyday topics in EMS. Yes, I'm your host, John Newton, and this week we're talking about EMS apps for smartphones. But before we get started, I want to take just a little brief second and say thank you to our partners at EMS Today 2016 and those folks over there at distancecme.com. You can find their links on our page and any updates from them on our site at mediclifetv.com. So as a nod to tech and EMS, this week I'm going to talk to you guys about applications for EMS. Yes, those little gizmos that you download to your phone and you utilize them out there on the scene. Now, yes, these can be found in both Android and Apple, but I am an Android person, and so we'll be talking about these from an Android perspective. I will tell you guys, and really, in all honesty, not a big app person when it comes to EMS. I'm still one of those folks who is, as I turn around here and grab my little flip guide for you guys, and you guys probably wonder what some of the stuff is. And you guys, if you want to leave comments about some of the stuff, or if you want to send me something, we'll send me a little message, and I'll figure out a way for you guys to send me stuff to stick on the little board back there. But I love my little flip guide. Let's see, I got a little stuff stuck in the side of it, and I carry that with me. So I did have to do a little research, and I reached out to some friends and some folks that I know within EMS, and I trust them in their judgment. So broke it down into two categories for you guys. The first category is free apps. We all love our free stuff. Now, one that you all are probably familiar with is called Epocrates, and they have an Epocrates, and essentially it's like a light version, which is the free version. Has the full stuff in there. There's a few little things that you can pay for the Epocrates Plus and get just a few little extra things, but in all honesty, for EMS, it's really not that big of a deal. And it has been around for, I've been a big fan of the program for, more than a decade or so. And it's very valid. They update it very frequently, and that's what we want. We want good information that is updated and is made available for us because we know that things change a lot. Now, Epocrates is a way to really look up drugs by name or even doing a pill ID, and this gives us information about treatment modalities and even disease processes. So it's an excellent application to kind of hit a couple different areas, but the big thing that most of us use Epocrates for is looking at medications. And we know that with all these polypharmacy folks that are out there, you just got to have a way of looking up these medications. Even physicians don't know all of them. There's just too many of them. The next one is drugs.com, and that's actually the name of the application. It's a app that Russ, and some of you guys may remember Russ from our Salute to Veterans episode 12. He sent me this application. He said this is one of the ones that he keeps on the top of his list. And this one is another one. It's just about helping identify medication that allows you to do pill checks, and you can even check interactions with medications. The added bonus to this particular, and I thought it was kind of a neat aspect, but of this particular application, was that you can actually keep up with your own personal medical records and your medication. So that was kind of cool. So it gives you that personal factor as well. So these applications are not in any particular order. So the next one is the dopamine calculator. and it is a very simplistic app. I actually found this one by accident while I was doing a little of the research for this episode, and I think that it is, well, I think back to those times when I had to do those calculations in my head, maybe dig out that short pencil, as my dad used to say. But gone are those days. This definitely would have been a lifesaver, and yes, pun was intended there. I think this is a very good and simplistic application because it doesn't make you dig around in some other application to figure out how to do your dopamine calculation. Now, I said that these were in no particular order, and they're not. If I were to put them in order, I think that I would put this next one at the top of my list, personally. It was interesting that when I did poll some people, this was not on anybody's list, and it's a free application. This one's actually shared to me about a year ago, and I'm actually ashamed to say that I don't even remember the lady's name who sent it to me. So if you're watching, drop me a line because this is an excellent all-inclusive pediatric application. Blue Card is the name of this application, and it is by far my favorite PEDS app. One, because of the functionality, and two, because it's free. Yeah, I'm like you guys. I love free stuff. This app allows you to enter either the weight in pounds or kilos, or you can enter the age of the patient, and this is all on the intro screen. You hit submit, and it takes you to a screen where you can then pick from things like vital signs, medications, equipment, treatment options. It even gives you a little PALS update. So there's a lot of interesting information, useful information for you in this application, and it does all the calculations for you by just entering some simple information. So thank you to the mystery lady for your submission. The next one on my list is Hazmat Pocket Guide. James Boomhauer, he sent this one to me, oftentimes we don't really think about hazmat, but this has been one that is very simple and clean to use, and the user interface is, well, it's excellent. Very detailed descriptions on the main page. As a matter of fact, the main page has a placard on it, multicolored, numbered, with lines and descriptors on it, and then it's interactive. You can click on different aspects of it, and it'll break it down all the way down to the very fine points where you can look at and see what's specifically in each one of those categories under those 9 different classifications, some information about each one of those placards. So it's a very good application for you. This one definitely covers you for your hazmat aspect. So thanks, Boomer, for that one. That was an excellent submission. This one is my last one on the list of freebies, and this comes from those folks at Limmer Creative, and that's LC Ready. And this is a great app that gives you access to your account for test prep. And I'll tell you, I do have a personal experience with the program, and it's an exceptional. You can take tests, quizzes on the go, and even prep for National Registry. They do have an excellent line of applications designed for all levels of EMS, but the rest of the package in this suite is actually paid for, but all of them are very easy to use and very user-friendly. Most of their stuff is actually geared towards helping you reach that goal of being that EMT, advanced EMT paramedic, and getting that educational knowledge base. Now this, and I said that one was the last one, but I do actually have one more on this list. And this one is more for as a last little toss in, and this is the AHA 2015 Mega Code. This is essentially an app that is an interactive provider manual with a Mega Code component. So this is a good way for you guys to check out the changes to ACLS and BLS. Now, I know this is not the best list of applications, and honestly, there are tons of them out there. When I did the research, I asked people questions, got them to fill out questionnaires, send me in emails and things like that. people would just send me lists and lists and stuff. As a matter of fact, one guy sent me a list of like, I don't know, it was about 50 or 60 of them, and he had them broken down. I believe it was Scott McConnell that sent it to me, and it was very neatly detailed, and he had it broken down to fire, EMS, dispatch, stuff like scheduling. There was all kinds of, and there's just tons of applications out there that are free. And in all honesty, there's just really not any realistic time for me to do all of those. So I'll do the best I can to add as many of those free to the list for you guys, and we're going to talk about how you guys can access those. Before we actually do delve into those paid applications, I want to talk about two things that we don't think about in EMS that we oftentimes use that may not be specifically related to EMS. And that's weather and navigation. And again, Scott sent me, when I sent him the request for the information, he was like, hey, why don't you talk about weather and navigation, because it's not something we often talk about. So thanks for pointing that out, Scott. And yes, I will tell you my favorite is AccuWeather. ACCU is the name of it. It's a neat little application. It gives you current hourly weather, and you can break it down into hours, days. You can look at that weekly forecast. You can pull up a radar. So it's an excellent little application, and we're getting into that time of year when we do have to kind of worry about some of those weather patterns. The other one for navigation, and I think we all use this one, and that is Google Maps. Now, I really do like Google Maps. Not a big fan of just punching into the GPS, and we all know that the problems that can happen with that. Google Maps has added a recent component where it lets you know about different traffic patterns. Is it delayed, this, that, and the other. I will say to you guys, don't rely too heavily on the app. Learn how to read the map and know your traffic patterns, know those areas like railroads and schools, and even last one I guess would be construction zones. Just keep that in mind. All right, for the paid list. Now, I don't actually have as many on the paid list. In all honesty, most of you guys probably have a few. I'm going to name 4. And the first one, and this was the #1 app that was on everybody's list, and that's PDStat. Alan A. from Cincinnati, Ohio said it's his favorite PD app, partially it is because it provides not only the same information as those free counterparts like Blue Card, but the interface is very clean. It allows for quicker access to vital information. And it's that clean interface that you're getting with this paid application that makes it easier for you to, in those critical situations. When we talk about pediatrics and we know that they do crash so quickly, we need to be able to access that information quickly. Now, #2 on the list, and I guess I should say, and both of these are cost about the same, so they're about $8 a piece. So #2 on the list is Critical Care ACLS Guide. Now, the critical care guys, they all had this one at the top of their list. Some of you may remember Bruce Hoffman from my episodes that we did on Narcan. He basically said, well, this is exactly what he said. I chose this application because it is quick and easy to use and gives me the meat and potatoes of what I need to know. Again, it has a very clean interface. It delivers just what it promises. In the title, it is Critical Care ACLS information, but it doesn't really stop there. The information that is provided is very detailed, concise, but presented in a manner that is very user-friendly, and it doesn't take a lot of just menu searching to get to that information. You put in the information that you're looking for, and it pops up quickly. And there are a variety of aspects, and it's not just ACLS stuff. There's even a poison control component. There's a burn component. So there's a lot of different components within this particular application. Wow, sorry about that. So the last two, no particular order in these two. I just kind of popped these up here for you. The first one I'm going to say is EMS ACLS. Now, this one is about $8 as well. And that flip guide that I held up for you guys close to the beginning of this particular episode, this is the application version. I've carried the pocket guides for years. Love these things. I'm a big fan. Again, yeah, I'm getting to be the old guy who likes to carry his monographs around with him in his pockets. I can see the usefulness of all of these applications, really. But as a fan of this particular application, I would say if you're a fan of the Infomeds, look into this one. The last application that I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is EMS ICS. It's a $7 application. And I put this one on my list for my firefighter buddies. It's an excellent way to make sure that you cover all your bases during an MCI for all providers. It starts out at the opening screen with those layouts of the command structure, and as you click on each component of the command structure, it breaks it down and it asks you questions. Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you set up this aspect? Have you talked to these people? And these kind of things. So it's a very detailed, those guys put a lot of information to it, and I believe it's actually provided by those folks at FEMA.gov. I found it on the Google Play, but I think if you just type, I think there's a link on the page, I can't remember, but it goes, it'll take you to those folks at FEMA.gov. Very well detailed information. You can find most or all of these in Android or Apple version, and I'm going to do the best I can to have these links provided to you on my website. So let's just take a little quick look here at the website. And this is mediclifetv.com. And this is the intro page that you guys can see here. And you scroll down, you can see the little links there for EMS Today, those folks at Distant CME and iTunes. What I want you guys, and it may move, but right now this is just the easiest way for you guys to be able to find these. If you click on Partners, or you can even scroll down and just click on EMS Apps, EMS Apps is the page. Now it is currently under construction, and I'll just tell you guys that. So probably after the new year, through the Christmas holidays, I'll have a chance to put these up and get these in here for you. If you are looking for the podcast in detailed information, you can find it here in these little blurbs. The weekly news, if you're looking for information that I'm putting out about EMS Today, Distant CME, Medic Life, or anything that I just find out there that I put out for you guys, and I try to put out some good educational stuff. I'm not just trying to sell you guys stuff. And this is your little secret for this week. So I tell you guys to go to mediclifetv.com, click on the news bullet there at the top, scroll down to EMS Today 2016 t-shirt contest, and read that little news snippet and follow directions. And I think you guys might enjoy that. It is a way for you guys to enter and get a free t-shirt. Now, if you guys are looking for discounts, there's also information about those on the news page, and you can always yeah, well, let's just do that. You guys just go to the news page and get the information there. So we're going to leave this episode as we close out, as we are now starting to do, with rants from the GT Medic.
guys, it's Jeremy, the GT Medic, coming to you with a rant this week about something I've been seeing a lot of while driving on the highways between Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and it's in regards to these laws right here, the move over laws. All 50 states have a move over law in place. Some of them require that you not only move over, some of them also require that you slow down. So much below the posted speed limit, while other states are a little vague about it, and they just say, slow down if you can't move over to a quote-unquote safe speed. But yeah, been seeing a lot of people basically ignore this. The other day I was driving past a traffic stop, and I moved over. I was in the right-hand lane. I moved over to the middle lane, and I probably saw at least 10 or 15 cars behind me that just completely ignored that. And there was no one behind me in the center lane. They could have very easily moved over, no problem. So I get really frustrated and I get concerned because I've had a couple of close calls in my career. And the advice that I'm going to give you guys is anytime you're operating on a roadway, whether it's during the day or during the hours of darkness, you need to wear your ANSI level 2 or level 3 reflective vest. Okay? This is really not an option for us. We have to be prepared. Make yourself as visible as possible. I know that, people are like, well, what about our red flashing lights and blue flashing lights and all that kind of stuff? You know what? People are so used to hearing sirens and seeing flashing lights that they don't even really think about it twice anymore. And in all honesty, people are not going to be looking at your emergency equipment. They're not going to be looking for that kind of stuff. They're going to be rubbernecking, trying to see what you're doing, trying to figure out what's going on. Even though everyone has seen a car accident at some point in their life. They all look the same, right? But for some reason they decide that they need to get involved and make it their business. So just be careful while you guys are out there. Make sure you got the appropriate equipment on. This is not, like I said, not an option for us. If you have an internal policy that states you don't have to wear a reflective vest during the hours of daylight, you're wrong, because this is a federal mandate. In fact, I'll pull that up for you here real quick. Here it is. 23 CFR Part 634, Worker Visibility, High Visibility Vest Compliance Guidance for Fire and Emergency Services Personnel. That is absolutely us, guys. So, yeah, make sure that you have the appropriate personal protective equipment on. Now they do give the fire service a little bit of leeway if they're engaged in fire suppression operations, hazardous materials, stuff like that. Obviously, they're not going to be able to wear a reflective vest over their turnout gear and whatnot. And not all turnout gear is going to necessarily comply with those reflectivity standards, but yeah. All right. So that's just what I wanted to just kind of mention to you guys. Just be safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. I've said it before, and I'll probably follow it up again with a rant here next week. Talk a little bit about scene safety and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, scene safety doesn't exist, and I'll talk more about that next week. So, until then, guys, take care, be safe, and as always, medic up.
Excellent advice from the GT Medic, and thanks for your submission again. Look forward to hearing from you next week. So that's about all the time we have this week, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook and Twitter. Go to our website at mediclifetv.com to get the latest information and updates from EMS Today 2016 and our other partners. If you want to be a well-informed lifer, don't forget to get on the email lists, and you can sign up on the contact page. Y'all stay safe out there. This has been episode 17.